As the Arizona Cardinals prepare for Week 4 versus the Seattle Seahawks, there's a lot of questions surrounding who will be playing for Arizona as well as Seattle. Well, let's go and dive right into who was a participant today in practice and who's trending in the right direction. Let's dive into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack up that like button and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. On this channel, we're covering the Arizona Cardinals news, breaking news, conversational pieces, everything surrounding your favorite team. So subscribe it up. It's absolutely for free. And we are giving away the Arizona Cardinals Nike rivalry mini helmet at the end of this month. So make sure you are subscribed to be a part of that giveaway. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we are going to be diving into what Jonathan Gannon provided the Arizona Cardinal fan base as to who is already out heading into tomorrow's Thursday night football game against another divisional rival matchup, which is going to be a very, very tough matchup, but the Cardinals need to come out of this game with a W. But let's dive right into it. Zay Jones, Arizona Cardinals veteran wide receiver, has already been ruled out with a concussion. Now, this is big news to some people, not big news to other people. Now, we already know outside Trey McBride as well as Marvin Harrison Jr., those are really our pass catchers that have been a big impact in 2025 already. Unfortunately, Michael Wilson, Zay Jones, and Greg Dortch has not really been very productive. Now, I don't think it's fully 110% their fault. Now, there has been some drops from specific players, but there's just not a lot of opportunity for the Arizona Cardinals offense to really flourish with these wide receivers. Now, we did hear earlier that Michael Wilson came out and says that it hurts his heart that he's not a impactful player on this Arizona Cardinals offense. Now, is that going to be a situation where we're going to start seeing the Arizona Cardinals use these wide receivers a lot more? Not only that, but we are out our veteran running back in James Conner being done for the season, and now Trey Benson is coming in his stead to fully fill up the big shoes that James Conner ended up leaving here in 2025. I have a lot of faith in Trey Benson myself. I love him coming out of college, so he's got a lot of responsibility for this Arizona Cardinals run game to really take it to the next level. And let's be real, the run game for the Cardinals in 2025 so far, although it is our bread and butter, it hasn't been that great. So Trey Benson most likely going to be our number one running back moving forward. After that, Amari Mercado as well as Bam Knight. Those seems to be the depth. But when it comes down to the Arizona Cardinals wide receiving core, this is kind of an issue that we've been talking about since even the offseason, right? In terms of will the Cardinals be bringing in other wide receivers? As of right now, the Arizona Cardinals seems like they're more than confident with running with the depth that they currently have with Marvin Harrison Jr., Greg Dortch, Xavier Weaver, as well as Simi Fehoko. Now that we know that Zay Jones is listed as out with the concussion, there's going to be a real big opportunity for any of these three guys in Dortch, Weaver, or Fehoko to really kind of take the reins of this number 3 wide receiver position. We all kind of know that there's not really much depth when it comes down to this wide receiver core for the Cardinals, but this coaching staff and this organization really believes that somebody here can really step up to the table. Now, I'm going to have a question for you guys here watching. Who would you rather see take the reins? I really did like Xavier Weaver when we ended up getting him as a UDFA last year. He really hasn't seen a lot of playing time, but we did see wide receiver Simi Fehoko have a really good preseason, and it was kind of shocking that we cut him, but it was really good that we ended up putting him back to the practice squad. So maybe we're going to be living in a world where maybe Greg Dortch and one of these other two guys have a split share to kind of split the number 3 wide receiver positions. I would obviously rather see one of the other two guys in Weaver or Fehoko kind of take the reins, but I do believe that Greg Dortch is going to be at least some sort of being involved in this number 3 in the slot wide receiver position. I mean, he's a really good player, but we're going to have to kind of wait and see how the game plan goes through and see how the Cardinals offense / Drew Petzing end up utilizing this gadget player in Greg Dortch. So these are going to be our depth players so far with Zay Jones being out. I don't know if the Cardinals are going to be making a big move either at running back. They seem very confident in Trey Benson. And then at the wide receiver position, I think that's going to be a little bit more if the Cardinals are proving that they are a contending team by the trade deadline. Heck, you never know. Maybe Monty Fort will pull the trigger on another wide receiver moving forward. But as of right now, it seems like they are sticking to their guns and they are going to be rolling with these guys that we've been rolling with in 2025 so far. Let's go and move on over to the injury report here for the Seattle Seahawks. They have been dealing with a lot of injuries in their secondary as well, but we ended up seeing a tweet here from Adam Schefter coming out and saying this: Seahawks defensive back Devon Witherspoon and Julian Love have no injury designation for Thursday night's game at Arizona and are good to go against the Cardinals. Seahawks rookie safety is listed as doubtful. Now, and then we did get a little bit of an update here from Seattle Seahawks number 2 running back in Zach Charbonnet. As of right now, he is listed as questionable, but definitely a game time decision heading into tomorrow's Thursday night football game. Now, let's be real. Kenneth Walker III has been very, very good for the Seattle Seahawks so far within 3 games. So whether Zach Charbonnet will be a go or not, I truly do believe that the Seattle Seahawks are more than capable to have a very good run game with just Kenneth Walker alone. Now, let's move on over to some Arizona Cardinal news. We all know that we've been dealing with some injuries in the offensive line as well as the cornerback room for the Arizona Cardinals. We did get somewhat of an update here from Darren Urban. He ended up putting up this post here on X saying this: rare afternoon Arizona Cardinals practice. Good news, all offensive linemen on the injury report were working. Paris Johnson Jr., Kelvin Beachum, Evan Brown, as well as Will Hernandez. Bad news, cornerback Will Johnson is still absent with a groin injury. Now, we're probably going to be living in a world where Max Melton obviously is going to be our number 1 guy right now. We're going to be rolling with Keitrell Clark as well as Denzel Burke, which they've been pretty solid for the Arizona Cardinals in the cornerback position. But let's be real, we're missing a lot of good, talented guys like Will Johnson as well as Garrett Williams, which currently right now is still on IR for the Cardinals. So we got a lot of work to do when it comes down to just getting healthy in general in the cornerback position. It seems like right now the Seattle Seahawks are the much healthier team compared to the Arizona Cardinals, but this is going to be a big game. No more excuses out there. This is a must-win game for the Cardinals because if they lose against the Seattle Seahawks, they're going to be dropping to 0-2 in the division and dropping to 2-2 in the 2025 season. And although, yes, you can recover from a 2-2 start or an 0-2 start in the division, but the back end of the schedule for the 2025 Arizona Cardinals is seen to be an absolute gauntlet, and it is not going to be an easy one. I was really hoping the Arizona Cardinals were going to be able to stack up some wins, and hopefully this Thursday night football game is going to be somewhat of a get-right game for the Arizona Cardinals. We need this win. Give a real quick shout-out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. That's going to be none other than Sleeper. The NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance to 100 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick on stats for these stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more to potentially 100 times your payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right and you can win big. Use promo code AZSF and you'll get up to $100 deposit match on your first initial deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Everything will be in the description below. Shout out to Sleeper, proud sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the 2025 season. So overall, it seems like there's some really good news for the Cardinals moving into week 4. We are getting healthier with the exception of the cornerback room. I would really love to see Will Johnson in this practice and probably kind of getting better and better. But those groin injuries, you really never know how to diagnose them and how severe it is. It can be gone for maybe another week, another 2 weeks, another 3 weeks. We really don't know exactly how it's going to work out. But the question that was arise was, if Will Hernandez is healthy, would he be a plug-and-play player for the Arizona Cardinals offensive line? And of course, Jonathan Gannon did not provide too much information on that, but definitely keeping everything very close to the chest. But as of right now, there's a lot of Arizona Cardinal fans that are very worried about that right side of the offensive line with second-year starter in Isaiah Adams, as well as veteran right tackle in Jonah Williams. There hasn't been very much consistency in the run blocking attack, but they've been really good at the pass blocking, which is absolutely absurd because our identity is being able to run the ball. So in order for the Arizona Cardinals offense to get better, they are going to need to be able to get this run game running efficiently a lot better than the first 3 weeks. And we're going to be seeing a young, hungry running back in Trey Benson getting the first opportunity to start after the James Conner injury. But ladies and gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts on this game? Do you think the Arizona Cardinals are going to be able to edge this out over the Seattle Seahawks, or do you have no hope for the Cardinals in the 2025 season? Let me know in the comments below. One thing I do know is that if the Cardinals want to win this game, they're going to have to figure out their offensive woes that's been plaguing them for the last 3 weeks. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know everything in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cardinals.